Hey there, it's Jen, and I'm here to show you a process video for Freckled Fawn using the November kit. Starting in November, they have offered 12 by 12 pattern papers, which I'm super excited about. And I'm going to use this pattern paper. As soon as I saw it, this might seem crazy, but I knew I wanted to fussy cut out some of these houses. And so what I'm going to do is fussy cut a bunch of these, and I'm using this photo of my daughter's Mixie Q's. She likes to have a little home for each one of her toys, and this little cubby that she has, she made a home for each one of her Mixie Q's. So that's how I'm tying in the house theme. And so what I'm going to do is start cutting these out, and then I'm not going to make you watch that, but I'll cut these out and then show you how I'm going to make this layout.
And voila, just like that, the houses are cut out. Now here I have a tin that I'm using as a template to trace a circle. You could use anything circular, because what I want to do is line up all of these houses around that circle. So you can see I just lightly penciled it in, and I'm putting just the teensiest bit of adhesive on the back of each house. And I'm going to place those all down, and every once in a while I'm going to use a puffy house instead of a paper one. So here you can see I'm pulling one of those off, and I like how the puffy stickers have some solid colored houses, whereas the paper just has the white houses with color on it. And so I'm going to sprinkle those throughout as well, and I'm placing them to along the top part of the circle, not so they're centered with the circle, because I wanted my circle to be a little bit bigger. So there they all are, fit it all perfectly, and I'm just erasing those pencil lines now. And my plan is to stitch through all of those. So that's why I just put the littlest bit of adhesive, because I didn't want it to gum up my sewing machine. I only use my sewing machine mainly for scrapbooking, so it's no big deal really, but I'm just you can see how the paper is turning right there to the left. I know I'm not completely in frame with my sewing machine, but what I was just saying there was, so I stitched through the center of all of those houses, and now I'm going to stitch 3 messy circles just on the inside part of the circle, and you'll see that here in just a second. And so I'm not being super careful. I'm just kind of twirling it around. You can see my hand feeding it through there. And I just keep my sewing machine on my desk so I remember to use it, and it's easy. There's a little bit of a close-up of what I was doing. And whenever I stitch, not always, but mostly, I like to pull the threads through to the other side and then just secure it on the back with some washi tape. So I've just grabbed some washi tape from last month's kit, and I'm trimming off the ends. And now I'm gonna fluff up the houses a little bit right now, but I decide to finish doing that at the end because I don't want to layer anything over the houses after I've kind of pulled them up a little bit. Since they're stitched down, I can pull them up for some dimension. So I pulled a couple of those little banners off of the chipboard sheet, and now I'm going to work on my title. So I thought I wanted the word home to be in pink, and my title's going to be Everyone Has a Home. And it's not like the word everyone, it's the 2 words, everyone, like every single one. And I go through a lot of different thickers trying to decide what I wanted to use, and I really like these super, super old light blue ones, and I'm going to use those to spell the word home. And I thought I would use pink letter stickers to spell the rest of the title, but I end up deciding that I want it to have a little bit more contrast, and so I'm going to go with black. So here I'm just pulling out the letters and placing it on the wax paper. And I like to use wax paper because I'm indecisive, and that way I can move things around and kind of decide how I want it before I commit to putting it on the layout. And you'll see that I do put these down and then pull them up anyway in a minute, but generally it helps me avoid having to pull them up later. I don't super care if things are uber straight, but I just want to see how I want to arrange everything. And I'm filling in the little space to the left of the word home with that little blue rubber house, which I love, and it's super cute. And I'm thinking before I do this that I might want to add some layers behind my photo. So rather than cutting up those pretty papers that are new this month, I am using some of the journaling cards because I have both the papers and the journaling cards. And I'm just going to flip through and find some patterns that I can kind of have poke out the the right and left edges of the photo. And I'm just trimming them so they're slightly smaller than the photo, and this is a great way to make it look like you have a piece of paper that stretches across the page, but you really are only using two little pieces. So I used the blue, a stripe, a multicolored stripe, and a floral. And those patterns work well together because stripes and florals, I think, always go well. And then the blue is a very subtle pattern. So when you're mixing patterns, think about those kinds of things. All of the houses have a black outline on them, and so I decided to outline my papers as well, and I'm just doing a single line on the floral and the blue, and I'm doing a double messy line on the diagonal paper. So now I'm just going to arrange the layers how I want them, and I'm going to glue them together before I stick them underneath the photo. And the reason I did that is because now I can use the first one that I glued as a template for where to put the other pieces, so I can really fool people and think that it stretches across the page. So now that I have that done, I'm going to place it behind the photo, and it's just slightly smaller than the photo, those papers, and I like that. And it's just going to stretch across those layers, and you can still see the houses on all sides, so I like that. I thought it would be fun to have those layers kind of pop up a little bit, so I'm just putting some foam squares behind it, and I'm not adhering them down, I'm just placing them there so that they hold the edges up, and I'm kind of roughing up the edges with my fingernail. And now I'm going to go ahead and work on my title, and I'm going to move things around a bit here and there, up and down and over. I didn't quite leave myself enough room here, and so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this and what I want to do. So I grabbed the rubber house so I could make sure that that fit in the space, and now I'm going to adjust my letters for the word home, and starting with has a, so that it rests right where the H comes up. Whenever there's ascenders, which are the parts of the letters that come up, or descenders, I like to make sure to nestle those around other things. It just makes it look nice. Like, it makes it look like things really belong together. So I decide to put the word one below and have the word every above, and that helps my title look more even, but it also helps me with that word every and one because it's not one word. So separating them helps clarify that it's really two words and I didn't just leave an awkward space between the letters. And so that works well. I just put a little bit of red line tape behind that rubber shape, but I'm not adhering it down yet because I'm thinking I might want to place something in that space. There's a little foam arrow and I kind of curved it. Because it's foam, it's really easy to curve. And it's just white, but I thought it would be nice if it was pink maybe. So I'm testing it out on a heart that's on the foam sticker sheet and a marker. So I'm using picked raspberry distress ink to do this. And then I decide to go with that color because it's brighter and it matches the colors of the houses. And I place that down at a little bit of a curve. And now I'm going to go ahead and glue down my house. I decide to use just one of the banners, and then I'm going to write my journaling underneath, and there it is. I drew some lines and now I'm just erasing them so that it has that finished look. And I like the way the wording fits in that little space down there. So I'm kind of thinking that there needs to be something to the left of that house, and I was wondering if maybe instead of that little arrow at the top, I should use this arrow, which is like a little label, and I could stamp the date on it because I'm trying to figure out where the heck am I going to stamp my date. But I find another place. So I'm using the Enamel roller date stamp, and I like it because it has the month and the year next to each other, and oftentimes I only stamp the month and the year and not the day. So I'm just stamping September 2017, and I'm kind of doing it around the curve on the bottom right hand side of the houses, and I think that looks nice. And then I'm just filling in the spaces instead of with the arrows with these enamel dots, and that is going to finish it. So here are some close-up photos. I hope that you have enjoyed, and I will leave links to all of the products in the video description below. And thanks so much for watching. Head over to the Freckled Fawn blog to see more photos.